Welcome to Who Put This On, Episode 10, where we discuss Hillbilly Blood, Season 2, Episode 1. And I'm the host, Chris Lorenz. Sitting to my left is...
James Rahal.
Sitting to his left...
Harrison Hoffman.
Sitting to my right...
Robert Kitts.
Sitting to his right...
Mountain Man Max.
Wow, man.
Sure.
Welcome back, Mountain Man Max.
Thank you.
I'm going to say this episode we watched was real terrible. This is... I think this might go down. It might be... be the winner of the worst one.
Oh, no.
This is real bad.
We're gonna get into this more, but like most of us seen other episodes of Hillbilly Blood. We thought this was much worse than other episodes we've seen.
It didn't feel like a bad show. It was just kind of boring. Just like not that much stuff happened, you know?
It was real boring,
Yeah,
which does not bode well for a reality show.
that's true. I mean, when you
Like-
can just design the whole thing, yeah.
Yeah, like when I'm watching like a movie and it's building up tension, or like over time it's building. This is just like these people are walking in the woods.
What's more real than being boring?
Yeah, exactly. Like that's fine. You can be boring, but this is why I don't watch Utopia stream 24/7.
Welcome to reality, Chris.
That's real boring.
Welcome to reality.
Well,
Thanks.
you're not watching the Utopia stream because Utopia is canceled. But
Yeah.
I know they just closed the streams like yesterday or something.
were you watching? And you saw?
No, they Google thinks that I like the show, so it's showing me links. It's showing me news stories.
Oh, Google.
Yeah, so whatever happened to the people there? Did they like bust them out of there?
I think they went home.
They just like walk home?
I'm pretty sure they were sent home.
They gave him bus fare.
Okay, great. They're like, here's $2. Thanks for your work.
All right, Harrison, do you have the studio description of the show?
I do. Let me pull it up really quick.
Man, this is a tight show.
Hillbilly Blood follows two mountain men who demonstrate backwoods ingenuity deep in the mountains of Appalachia. Hillbilly Blood.
Yep.
Yeah, Destination America skimped on the copywriters a little bit. You know,
Right. Essentially, it's
I
As
mean,
you will.
that might have been what they started the show as, though.
I mean that like it's an accurate description of the show, but they just
it's very brief.
They got to get the FYI Network's writers to help them out with that a little bit.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah,
the FYI network has a really nice website. Like the Married at First Sight website's really nice, in my opinion.
yeah.
Except for all the other shows that don't exist on their network.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna need to invest in some more content, but I feel like they're off to a good start. I don't know how long they've been around for, but I think that they're kind of new.
I did not know the FYI network was a network until we watched that show.
Oh, exactly.
I'll be honest.
Same here.
Is that a channel, like, or is it just online?
guess
only?
I think it's a channel.
It's got to be, right?
It's definitely a channel.
Okay.
It's a network.
Yeah.
It means it's
I don't
above a
know.
channel. It's a
This
network.
is in like the long list of things that Comcast and like DirecTV and these big cable companies is like 800 channels. Why need 800 channels? I don't need 800. Just make better shit on a few channels.
So are you about to go on a tirade about the cable industry right now?
I mean, if you want, I can do that.
I don't
It's
really
real
want
shitty.
that.
Okay.
All right, guys. So this episode starts off with, what was his name?
Eugene Runkus.
Eugene Rumpkus?
AKA
Rumpus.
Hound Dog.
Hound Dog and Two Dog, right? Those are the two.
Spencer, two
so-
dogs.
Spencer Two Dog.
It's just two dog.
Two dog?
Two
I
dog,
thought it was
not
plural,
two dogs.
Not plural.
I said two
For
dogs.
some reason, I imagine it's like two dogs, like a number two, and the S on dogs is a $sign.
Is it DAWG?
They're not
dollar
rappers,
sign?
James.
That's the
These are a
least-
hillbilly.
It's the least hillbilly thing you could do
Right.
with the name Two Dogs.
Yeah, these guys don't have any money. These guys are trading moonshine for stuff.
Well, in the context of the show, they're
Right. So in this
trading
episode,
Yeah.
they tried to trade moonshine for I don't
Guns?
know,
for
guns,
some shotgun cells.
Shotgun shells?
shotgun
Right.
shells. So moonshine is roughly worth $25, like a mason jar.
$25 a quart, I think.
Is that what they said?
Yeah.
I roughly equivalent to the mason jar they were showing. But the guy at the gun store wouldn't take his moonshine because he bought moonshine from somebody a county over. So now Two Dog and Hound Dog need to go out and figure out who that is and how they're making better moonshine than them. And it's kind of like this journey of them doing that, which is
It's a
real dumb.
Journey of boringness.
Hillbilly Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
It's a kind of.
Well, I feel like, to be fair, for the show and other or later seasons and other episodes, the most interesting things to me are when they build or engineer these crazy contraptions, weapons, what have you, out of just random either junk parts, crap lying around, or just wood, right? They'll just go chop down a tree and build something. And that tends to me be the most interesting thing of the show. This particular episode did not have a lot of that.
We got a very small window into that.
There's like 1 minute
Yeah.
of them.
So essentially, I think on this episode they built a boat.
So yeah, on their journey,
yeah.
they had to cross a river,
Right.
And and because it's cold, they can't get wet, so they build a boat out of a tarp and some vines.
Yeah.
Which
And
was
then-
super impressive.
No,
very
it was
impressive.
a real nice boat.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
couldn't do that.
But they didn't spend a lot of time on it either. It was just like they fast forwarded through them, putting all the twine and stuff together, and then putting on the tarp, and then they spent a lot of time getting the boat down to the quote unquote river.
Well, it was very dangerous. There was a lot of sharp rocks and sticks and things.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, they get to the river, they cross the river, and now they're on the other side of the river.
You think they would have spent a little time like making an oar or like a paddle of some kind instead of just using a flat stick that doesn't provide a lot of momentum through water at all?
I mean, in their defense, that river looked very, very small. They
More
probably
like-
thought, like, oh, I can just like stick it in the ground and sort of push myself.
Which
Yeah.
is what they
He was
sort of
using
did.
it as an oar, though.
Yeah, he definitely didn't do that.
It might end up being deeper than they thought, which, like, you would think they'd be familiar with the surroundings, but
They got across. They got
They
the
did.
job done.
they did.
Yeah.
And then the cameramen were also across,
Right.
unexplained.
I think that is the better question: is how do the cameraman
You mean
get in position for
they
these
took
shots?
the step bridge? They reviewed.
They used the
filmed
bridge
it all.
500 meters down from that spot. Just got across.
I mean, the other thing that I find ridiculous before they get here is that just like the other guy was like, "Yeah, they said they went by this stone through this river up this hill, and that's where he's from, and that's how they know where to go to find this other moonshiner, the guy at the gun store." And it's just like, really, the guy told you the backwards way of how to get to his house?
Yeah, I feel like they're really trying to reinforce that hillbilly aesthetic here.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
really trying real hard to set this up, and it just doesn't work.
Well, and I don't know. Maybe to add a little context to the two guys. These two guys are buddies. They basically live off
They're
grid.
mountain brothers.
Right. Okay, sure. They're friends. I guess mountain brothers, quote unquote.
Max,
no,
are you in
they're
there?
they're actual brothers.
Are they?
It
Are
says
they? No, I'm pretty sure they're mountain brothers.
They said Mountain Brothers.
Right.
I don't know what the definition of a
They
Mountain
have
Brother,
different
though.
last names.
right now. I'm reading something that says no one knows Cold Mountain better than Eugene Runckus and his brother Spencer.
Yeah, it's Mountain Brother.
But Spencer has a different last name.
Maybe
No.
one of them took their wife's last name.
No, their last name is Dog.
Yeah.
Two dog, hound dog.
Also, I feel like that's not the case where, this is coming from the same guys in the show that it's like, they describe that it's the man's job to provide meat for the women and kids in the household.
Sure.
So I feel like they're not taking the wife's name in that scenario.
Who knows?
But anyways, these two guys live essentially off grid. They don't pay for anything as far as like electricity and normal sort of modern day conveniences. And I don't believe that they have like a formal job. I'm sure they're getting paid by the show to show some of the stuff, but I think most of their day to day is just from bartering.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like, that's kind of the premise.
So they don't really need jobs because they're just
living
surviving
off the
by
land.
living off the land.
Right.
So in a previous episode I've seen of this show, the guy who owns the gun shop that they go to with the Moonshine. In a previous episode, they try to bring a bunch of truffles or something like that to the guy who owns the gun store and try to trade these truffles for guns.
Yeah.
So it seems like that guy will just kind of buy whatever from you.
what do they need all these guns for?
well, hunting.
Well, why don't they just set traps?
And keeping people off their property.
So in another
Speaking
episode,
of
that
traps,
is exactly
this is a
what they
great
do.
segue.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they get across the river and they try to go up the steep slope that the guy at the gun store mentioned, and they notice a tripwire magically, and then they're like, "Oh man, we got to step back down," and they crawl their way up around the tripwire somehow. It wasn't really shown, and then they notice that it was a man trap, as they called it, and they cut the tripwire, and a bunch of logs and stuff fell down the hill, not very far.
Seems a bit convenient for the show.
Yeah. Everything in this episode is very convenient for the show.
Here's the part about that whole thing that really gets me. So after they kind of disengage this trap and they walk up to the house, there's a guy in the house, obviously, and he comes out, and he is not hostile at all. You'd think that someone who has this lethal trap set up to keep trespassers out would be super hostile if someone came on his property, right?
Like maybe have a shotgun in his hand as people come out or something.
Yeah, he for some reason came out of his house holding this wrench and then was like, "Can you help me fix my car?" So he wasn't working on the car; he was in the house with the wrench. And then he came out with the wrench. He's like, "Can you help me fix my
Well, I
car?"
feel like they tried to explain that. They said if you do a friendly call sign,
Yeah,
then
two
people
dog.
know that you're friendly.
Yeah, but wouldn't you just do that if you were unfriendly?
I mean, yes, I would think that.
If you
Two
knew
Dog
the rule,
was given the call. Two Dog was calling.
it was weird that it was an animal call too.
Yeah.
He's like, "Woohoo!" Something like that. It's very strange.
Can we get that call one more time?
I was like, I kind of want to hear that.
That was an owl.
Hello. We'll clip that out. We'll use it later.
Yep, it's going on the soundboard.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
soundboard.
We got to do that at some point.
Do we?
I like that they want you to believe that someone's just set a lethal trap on the middle of a hill, and then it's just like a normal thing. It's like they were like, "Oh, we sprung the trap. Time to keep going up the hill." Like it's a totally normal thing. Like that seems crazy to me.
I mean, it doesn't seem outside of the realm of possibility in that area of like in that
I
part
would
of the country.
expect a better trap than what they had.
Yeah, I
Maybe.
was actually a little disappointed when they set that thing off, and it was just, a few logs. I was kind of expecting some boulders and some other shit to go flying down the hill.
There were a couple rocks.
Yeah,
There's
but
a lot of logs.
I
though.
don't
Really
even
is
think
little-
that would have hit them at the spot that they were at before.
Yeah, it was kind of a questionable trap. Really, what I was expecting is some kind of like Indiana Jones like spiked
Hole-
thing that just comes and wrecks him or something. I don't know.
I was expecting like a hole in the ground sort of deal with some
Yeah.
snakes, a snake pit.
That'd be great.
That was
Yeah,
on the
man.
train.
Well, yeah, actually, I thought in the description of this episode, they actually called it a deadfall. That's not
Deadfall.
what a deadfall is.
What is a deadfall?
So deadfall is when you dig a rather large hole, or there's a hole in the ground, right? And you
you cover
basically
it
put a
up.
lot of pointy objects in there so that if an animal or creature falls down the hole, it pierces it and kills it,
It's dead.
and it's dead. So it's a dead
Deadfall.
Get it?
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure they die after the fall. So wouldn't it be a fall dead?
But
Oh,
I know.
We need another animal call after that.
yeah. I was like, anyway. So yeah, I was surprised when instead of a deadfall, it was actually a quote unquote hillbilly man trap.
hillbilly man trap.
Yeah. So, anyways,
Yeah, I don't really know what that kind of trap is called.
Oh, they talked about it in the show. I think it was just called a
tumble
hill
mabob.
trap or some shit.
Yeah, they didn't give it a
Yeah.
fancy name.
Yeah. But anyways, so then,
They meet this dude,
yeah,
and he has a wrench, and he says, "Hey, can you help me fix my shitty old Buick?" And they say, "Sure." So they run over to this Buick, try and start it up. It doesn't work. So how convenient! They throw some hooch in the carburetor, which is a thing. And since alcohol burns easily, it warms up the carburetor and the car starts. And then the guy's like, "Oh, you guys are great. Let me give you some of my hooch magic."
he's like, "You guys all right?" Well, actually, so then he's like, "Let me take a sip of that hooch."
Yeah.
He inspects it, goes, "That's some high proof hooch right there."
He was very impressed.
Oh yeah, takes a sip, and is like, "That'll make a young man out of you."
Yeah,
Make an old man feel young,
Yeah.
and a young man feel nothing.
is that what it was?
I think that's what it was.
Oh man. So I was kind of surprised that this guy didn't know the moonshine the carburetor trick because he was theoretically a master moonshiner. So
Right.
you'd think he'd know.
Here's
Well-
the thing. I think he did know. It was a test.
Oh,
Right.
Oh,
Right.
Was a test.
Because he was like, do these two guys who showed up, are they real hillbilly people that I should trust, or are they a bunch of idiots with cameras?
What
Right.
happens if they don't pass the test?
Wrench to
Kills
the face.
them.
Right?
I was confused where the moonshine came from because I didn't see them cross the river with any moonshine.
He had a little bag.
He had
He had a
Did
bag,
they?
yeah.
Okay. I didn't. I missed that. I was just.
There was like some sort
He had
of
the
satchel
cameraman
or
hold it. It's
something.
fine.
Yeah, it looked like some sort of ammo canister.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think they were dragging that with them to this adventure, though, were they?
no.
I can't remember.
Moonshine. It seems like you can use it in any sort of situation.
Yeah, but I just didn't
Sure.
think they
They
were
don't
dragging that
Start
big
up
ammo can with
carburetor,
them.
set a barn on fire.
I mean, the mason jar. It was a pretty decent sized mason jar to be carrying around with him on this adventure.
I guess.
It seemed reasonable.
So when they were
In a lot of
pouring it
things.
into the carburetor, it seemed like it was only half full.
mean,
So I'm
they
wondering
were-
if
they
it
were-
was full when they started the journey.
They were
and they
drinking
were
that.
off camera. There was definitely some partaking, like while they're building the boat and
Some
stuff.
cut scenes out of the show. When we're crossing the river, we make sure that our chimney's a little warmer. Chug, 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 chug.
I mean, I feel like you're not building that boat sober.
Right.
You know.
if there's anything you learn, it's
Yeah.
you're going to be drinking some moonshine while you're building it.
I mean, you have to let your creativity flow a little bit when you're doing hillbilly engineering. So
Is that why they didn't use the bridge? Because
yeah, so, I don't know, some vines and a tarp on this thing.
Or like
there a bridge over there?
makeshift
Fuck it.
boots or something to cross the river because it wasn't very deep.
Yeah,
It didn't look that deep in some places.
it was hard to tell how deep it was, but there were definitely rocks poking out of it and stuff.
like all the way across.
Yep.
that's basically the end of the episode.
Well-
is they become friends
well-
with the
Kind of.
And then he shares the secrets of Hoochmaster
Popcorn.
Popcorn Sutton.
that's right.
Who I think is a character on another Discovery Channel show called Moonshiners.
Really?
We should
Yo, I'm
probably
pretty sure
investigate
Popcorn
this.
Sutton is dead.
I know, but I think you have to. I don't know. I think like his son or something. Like I'm telling you, I've seen that guy's face.
You've seen
Is,
Popcorn
is this
Sutton's
is
face?
this a frequent network of yours?
So, like-
James.
No, but I've seen the show Moonshiners.
On the show, they sort of show this sort of faded old photo of this guy who's probably long dead. Sort of, Lion King, Simba's father in the sky. Yeah, everybody reveres this guy.
Yep.
Would that be a Mufasa?
No, that's not Mufasa. Who is the Lion King?
Simba's
Simba.
father?
Simba's father is
Is
not
Mufasa.
No.
yeah, totally.
It is.
Oh, Scar is the bad guy.
Yeah.
Mufasa. Okay. Mufasa is a very bad guy sounding name.
Totally is.
Fair. That's fair.
He's an imposing king.
Yeah.
Well, he shows this moonshining kit as like a big, just like rusted old, like kind of like oven kind of looking thing with some tubes sticking out of it. He was like, "You got to clean this real well."
Oh, yeah.
with like some ketchup. Get that acid in there, clean it out. This outside, don't worry about the outside. Okay, we only care about the cleanliness of the inside,
Yeah.
and that's how you make good hooch.
The two keys to making good hooch, according to Hoochmaster Popcorn Sutton, is keep your shit clean and use water.
Real
Clean,
good water.
real good water.
Clean mountain water.
Mountain water.
So it seems like they're wasting a lot of ketchup cleaning this thing. They say it takes a gallon. They fill it with a gallon of ketchup. It seems like a lot of ketchup. It seems like that'll be eaten into your moonshine profits.
Ketchup is cheap.
How
Yeah, but
cheap
if
is
you're getting
ketchup?
$25 a mason jar and a moonshine, like that's
I guess.
Out of way more
You
valuable.
could probably make a lot of moonshine in that. Like,
yeah.
Yeah,
thing.
I have no idea if you have to clean it after every batch or what the deal is.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
because
like, when you-
because it
That's a
seemed
gross
like he was
process.
getting that kind of growler sized like amount of moonshine out of that thing. It was kind of underneath the spout and it was filling up. I don't know if you can get more than that, but I have no idea about making moonshine.
Well, I know when you're making alcohol, you can't really contaminate it with anything because then the yeasts they'll make other things than ethanol. So you have to make sure it actually is clean. So if you don't clean it, then
Right.
you don't get any
You
moonshine.
just
Yeah,
don't get alcohol. so it's just, yeah.
like,
you just
you get
made a
more
bunch of
than-
other shit.
Yeah, you just
Yeah, but
make
wouldn't you
more
have to
than that.
clean the ketchup out of it really well? Because there's be like sugar and tomatoes
Yeah.
and stuff in there.
Of course.
Like
Yeah, well, I'm
it's
guessing
just-
you wash that stuff off. So I think that the acid or something cleaned, gets the shit off the walls, then you rinse it.
Well, the
You
acid-
don't just put soap in it and call it a day. You rinse it after, right?
yeah, you can't just use soap because that doesn't get it clean enough.
Right.
you gotta use some kind of acid.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's
So-
just like that town in Spain where they have that tomato fight to
Yep.
clean their tomatina. Yeah, that's
Is
why
it-
they clean their streets with the tomato acid.
Oh, so that the purpose of that tomato festival thing is to clean the streets?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. It's pretty cool.
Well, I mean, the street it's on, I guess it's not. Well, I guess it's streets because it flows throughout the whole town.
It's pretty crazy.
You ever have a dog that got skunked?
No,
You have to clean them with tomato juice.
I've heard that.
Works really well.
Have you ever been skunked, Max?
I haven't, but my dog was.
Huh.
Thanks, Max. Words of wisdom.
Words of
from
wisdom
Max.
from Mountain Man Max.
From Mountain Man Max, who is, lost his accent somehow.
I was hoping the accent was going to keep going, but I wasn't hopeful.
yeah.
So yeah, that's the end
Or
of the
we could all
episode.
pick it up right now.
Right.
Which kind of leads me to one of the weirdest parts of the show, which is the narrator just kind of seems real forced and doesn't
Oh,
seem...
Diane Ferraro.
This
Oh,
thing about- This is something about the show that like I think is really interesting is that they seem to put like the name of the show is Hillbilly Blood, and they have this super over the top narrator, and like this whole episode is trying to be about like some sort of moonshine war, and I feel like they're trying to set up like, you know, oh, these are these like weird hillbillies doing this weird stuff that's like not normal, but like these two guys are super smart and can build really like incredible things, and like that's the part of the show that's interesting, and like the show seems all focused on like not emphasizing
kind of
that
stuff,
but that's like the part that's really good, and I kind of don't get it.
It's really funny when you hear the like hillbilly narrator explaining the contraptions that the guys are making. It's like, and these guys are gonna like whatever, you know,
displace 64 cubic meters of water.
Yeah, it's really strange to hear him explain like scientific topics in that accent. I guess I'm not saying anything about. I'm not saying anything about that accent.
It seems like you're saying something there.
I'm not saying anything about that accent, but it's weird.
What do you mean, you people?
Yeah, at the end of the episode, nothing is resolved. There's just like, now you're friends with the other guys.
He's got some moonshine tips, so he's going to make some better hooch.
But
he can
is
trade
he
it.
not going to trade in his county anymore?
Well, I don't know if they know that was the guy.
Yeah, I don't know if they ever figured that out.
I mean, I think that's what we're supposed to assume.
Right.
But when they brought that topic up to him, he's like, yeah, you know, there's some guy from another town who's coming selling moonshine. The guy's like, all right. He doesn't really react to it.
Yeah,
I mean, I was expecting some kind of sabotage where they just go over and like just kick over his thing and like something to happen there, burn his house down. I don't know.
Hillbilly arson.
Yeah,
that's right.
Hillbilly criminals.
Yeah,
I want to hear the narrator narrate like setting up arson.
It takes
12
gallons of moonshine to light a standard one-bedroom house on fire.
You really wanted to get it good in there, you know. You got to get it in the bed, you know. That'll light up real good.
Yeah, that's right.
Creates over 700 kilocalories of energy.
Man, I feel like you guys have been trying to work on this for a little bit. You've been working on these accents.
No, not at all. I've been watching Hillbilly Blood for a half hour though.
That's what we do.
Happen.
Max has been waiting for us to do this show, so he's been preparing.
That's how we talk in the Appalachians.
Appalachian Max.
Appalachian.
So where are they in the Appalachians? Like
Cold Mountain, North Carolina.
Okay.
I don't
They
know
keep
where Cold
saying
Mountain
that.
is, but
Why
I
is
know
it-
it's in North Carolina.
Why is it called Cold Mountain?
North Carolina
Because cold. What's really funny is I think season 4 is in the summer and it's real hot, and the whole thing is them like building air conditioners and shit like that.
That was a great episode.
Yeah, they built air conditioners out of propane tank, which is amazing.
Yeah, that was the weirdest. So in a previous episode we watched,
I did not watch this.
Sorry,
episode.
so you're going to be excluded from this for a second, but you can pretend you're one of the listeners and let us know how it goes.
I guess.
So
Without watching that
basically-
episode, though, this show is real bad.
Yeah.
This particular episode was not my favorite.
Not your favorite.
Anyway, Harrison,
So
tell your
in
story.
this other episode, as I was starting to explain,
I'm gonna let you finish.
one of so I think it was either Eugene or Spencer's mom. I can't remember.
Or maybe both.
Maybe both. They might be brothers. We still don't know. Like their mom, like his mom's car's air conditioner broke, so there's like, we're gonna figure out how to build an air conditioner, and they essentially take this propane tank.
So why is that the weird part? They're just trying to, fix the air conditioner on
Yeah.
the car.
Well,
that seems pretty normal.
But they decide not to fix it. They're just gonna build a new one. So basically, what they do is they take this propane tank and they like cut it in half and they sort of like drill holes in it, and then so there's just like the bottom half of the propane tank, and the top half's open, and they sort of stick these sticks through the propane tank and fill the bottom of it up with a bunch of water. And then they take like these rags or something, and they just kind of have them draped over the sticks and the thing, so that the water's sort of soaking up into the rags. And I can't remember if they had a fan or like the back window was just open or something, but essentially the air was just kind of blowing over the rags to kind of just cool down the car.
I think
and
as I recall there was some sort of intake, like a tube of some sort from the outside.
Oh, that's right.
wrapped
Yeah,
around, right?
Yeah, there was some kind of a tube coming in from the window. And it's just like the jankiest air conditioner you could ever make, essentially.
This sounds terrible for a car.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the most convenient, and maybe if you take a corner too hard, it's just going to dump the tank over in
just
the
like
back.
you hit the pothole. Oh, there went the air conditioner.
Yeah.
Somebody get the water out of the back.
It's not ideal
You need
overall.
to set up an airbag for the air conditioner, so in an accident it just gets stopped.
It doesn't fly through the windshield and impale you in the face.
Oh my god.
There's a lot of risks, in hillbilly engineering. Some might say.
Did they put ice in it? I feel like that still wouldn't be that cold.
No, I mean, it was, it seemed like it was a hot hillbilly kind of day. So
yeah,
it
it's like
was,
100 degrees in your water, I guess, is like, 80. I guess it feels
Well,
warm.
it's like going in a pool. It still feels cooler.
Yeah. I mean, the presence of water, will generally make you drop
Well,
some
it heats-
temperature, right? With any sort of moving air will certainly help
Well,
the
it just
situation.
takes longer to heat up. I don't think it has anything to do with the present. If you have the presence of hot water, you feel hot. Like
No,
it's-
I think it's more of the fact that you're blowing air over water is why the air cools down.
no, it's because
presence
the
of
water
that's
is
drawing it down.
cooler.
It's the water temperature, because if you're blowing air over like a big block of ice, I think it would kind of similarly...
Right.
It
It's
would
just
be much
it's
colder.
not efficient to get the ice in this scenario.
No, yeah, because the ice would just melt.
Right.
Yeah.
You probably spend way more time and energy trying
So-
to get ice.
I wish I had the narrator here to explain.
That's
it to me.
exactly
Yeah.
what I was thinking.
really
You read my mind.
So I'm kind of thinking of that one episode of Hey Arnold where it's just super hot and the air conditioner's kind of broken, and then they send Arnold to the store to go and like get more ice, like for
Oh, yeah.
like to put in front of the fan. That's kind of, I feel like, what this is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
That was
that's
a
the
good
idea.
reality show too.
Hey Arnold. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was great. About
I guess.
Oh, and then he
kids living in New York City.
tries to go to the movie theater and it's all packed, and then he goes to the
pool.
and
Yeah.
it's all packed.
And then they almost flip over the ice cream truck. The Jolly Ollie Man.
Oh yeah, F for friendly.
It's a great show.
Lost.
I
Are
have
you
a
aware of
question
Arnold?
about propane tanks. I just wanted to get people's opinions on this. Maybe there's a reasonable explanation for this. but
Sure.
It seems from these other episodes, they just have an endless supply of propane tanks they can make ridiculous things out of.
I saw 0 propane tanks.
What? In this episode, there were 0 propane tanks. I was very disappointed.
Well, there was one maybe at the end.
Maybe.
With
Unconfirmed.
the-
Oh yeah,
Moonshine
no, there
machine.
for sure was a propane tank in that moonshine thing.
So my first question is, what are they using all this propane for? Do we know why they just need so much propane?
Just anything really, because I don't think
it's a pretty useful thing, apparently.
But like for
Right.
what? What are
You'd
they
be
doing?
grilling.
Probably,
Grilling. Be grilling.
maybe they're heating their house with it. Like, I'm not
Right.
really sure if they have
Yeah, but you're-
natural gas or electric or anything out
If you're
there.
heating your house
Yeah.
with propane, you're not using the tiny propane tanks.
Yeah.
You've
Sure.
got the 4 feet long propane tank. You don't.
I gotta
That's true.
imagine these guys have like a natural propane sort of line into the house, or like
Natural
they
gas?
Just, yeah, like a natural gas.
I
or
feel
something.
like
I don't know.
they're just bartering for empty propane tanks
So they just want to get empty propane tanks to make ridiculous
because they're
things out of.
useful.
Well, they're certainly useful. Yeah.
So to me, it just kind of seems like these are the kind of guys who never throw out anything,
Yeah.
Oh, also
just
true.
in case they need to use it in some crazy
Oh, yeah.
invention. So
Well,
there's just
yeah.
a ton of shit lying around.
But
Right.
So my second question is, those propane tanks look to me like you could refill them.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
why do they keep getting new propane tanks when they just keep getting propane added back into their
Because
tanks?
it's the same price.
Well, they're not like in this
not
scenario
the
though.
same
They're not
price.
using the tank for the
Oh.
propane. They're using it for the structure.
No, but I'm saying the fact that they're using tanks for all these other things, I
Mhm.
feel like is inefficient when they could just reuse the same tanks for propane.
So I
Because
think
that
the
seems like a more
thing-
useful function for
Right.
those things.
I don't think they're
If I
using
have a
all these tanks
propane-
for that though. Right.
Okay.
That's something that I can imagine. They're not using like all these tanks for propane. Who knows? Maybe something got like some leaks in them. Whatever. They're just using them for like the structure of the tank for.
I know why they're
various
using them.
things.
I just like it's hard for me to wrap my
Yeah.
head around having so many propane tanks when clearly you barter for everything and you're going to reuse things. Why don't you just reuse propane tanks to get more propane?
I feel like you could also barter with the propane tank because other people are going to need propane tanks.
everybody needs propane.
To build stuff out of or to put propane in?
Who knows? Both.
Great.
I feel
Right.
like they might just have an inn at like the propane like center where you can bring old propane tanks and get new ones, and like they figure out these ones are structurally like bad, so they like sell them off cheap.
and
To
then they
the
get the
studio.
old ones.
Yeah, they just get the ones
to just make ridiculous things out of.
Well, I mean, sure, the studio might get them. Like these two guys probably don't
No,
have. this
I
many
want to
propane
keep
tanks.
the illusion that these
Yeah.
guys just have all these propane
You
tanks.
realize we watch
and are-
reality shows, right? Like, are you not smart
Yeah.
enough now at this point?
No, it's not about being
Suspension of
smart.
disbelief.
I
You have
see
to buy
movies.
into the
I'm not going to
concept.
go see Hunger Games this week and be like, this is very unrealistic. I'm just going to be like, oh no, lots of crazy stuff's going
Oh
down.
man, they green screen this.
Well, I go in expecting that. When
I
you
go
told
in-
me it's reality, I'm assuming like that it's pseudo reality.
You're doing it wrong, Chris. You're doing it wrong.
Just
Chris,
takes away from your enjoyment of the
this
show.
You got to buy in. You got to go all in.
This isn't reality. This is a social experiment.
This show was
Is
so
this the
boring.
first one that's not a social experiment?
I think there's been a lot of them that weren't, but there's enough that are that it's a thing.
Is Real Housewives a social experiment?
Yes.
100%.
Probably.
Yeah.
It's
So-
the minority that were not social experiments.
Right.
So, so after this episode was done, we were kind of bummed out that we didn't pick a super interesting one. So we went on the Hillbilly Blood website, and they have this series of videos that's called Hillbilly Life Hacks. And I don't know if I'd classify some of them as life hacks, because the first one we watched was how to make a machete yourself.
Got to
Right.
know that's a crucial.
And you
And
know,
it was
skill
only
to
like
have.
part of the process.
yeah, it was like just the very end. It's like it kind of starts when they just have just a piece of steel or something just in a fire to temper it, and like that's just where they start, and then it just kind of shows them sort of shaping the blade.
Well, wait. There was a 2-second clip of them cutting it out of another sheet.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Sorry.
They had some sheet metal or
Yeah,
something.
We saw a blowtorch real quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They kind of cut the blade and they forged it somehow in the fire, I think. And then they basically the interesting thing there was how to put a handle on it.
Yep.
So it was essentially kind of a fiberglass sort of thing. I forget what the chemical was they used or whatever.
Some
but-
sort of resin they use on
Yeah.
car bodies.
right.
And
The best part was Eugene talking about how a lot of people say this is real hazardous for your health, but it's never bothered me.
He like kind of looks in the camera.
Yeah, he's like some people say this causes brain damage, but it ain't affecting me none. Like what?
Yep.
Oh God.
I don't know. To be fair though, that dude seems pretty smart at like engineering crazy shit out of nothing.
Yeah, no, he is. Seems like a smart dude.
he definitely has good writers. This is
God damn. Who's hating over here?
gotta be hating.
The hater.
This
Hater in the house.
These short clips were like 18 to 100 times better than the actual show. Like
Yeah.
this show was so boring.
It was really
It was
boring.
so long. Like there's maybe minute of worthy content where they like made the the boat, but that's about it.
I mean, they showed you how to disarm a hillbilly man trap. That could be a useful
So
skill.
if the man trap was something that was exciting, like maybe it could have been.
I'm just
but,
saying, so
like,
you do not think that you're skilled now. If you were out in the woods, you saw that tripwire, what would you do?
I probably
wouldn't
wouldn't
see
see
the
the
wire.
tripwire.
So you're just dead.
No, I wouldn't be dead because that tripwire wouldn't have done anything.
You got hillbilly man trapped.
Oh shit!
If the five of us tried to live the hillbilly life, who dies first and who lasts the longest?
James,
That seems like
wait, I
James
die
dies-
first and
yeah.
live the longest.
no, you die first
Why do I die first?
because you're too self-secure. You think you're the best, and you're just gonna run into situations, and you're just not gonna be able to handle them, and then you're gonna die.
And then a hillbilly man trap is just going to descend on him.
Yeah, he's just gonna be run through that tripwire the first.
Interesting.
so. That's a good segue into this quiz that we found on the Hillbilly Blood website called "How Hillbilly Blood Are You?"
So we're gonna do the quiz on the right episode this time.
We're gonna do the quiz on the correct episode, and we're gonna do
What?
it right now.
So Harrison, given your past quiz experience, how long is this quiz going to take?
I'm gonna say it's gonna take about 5 minutes to do this quiz.
Over-
Okay, so
under
we're gonna
5
go.
questions.
We're going to estimate about 20 minutes.
I'm not sure.
We can't spend too much time on it.
Here we go.
Okay.
How hillbilly blood are you? No
Real
one knows
hillbilly
Cold
blood.
Mountain better than Eugene Runckus and his brother Spencer. Together they demonstrate backwoods ingenuity on a daily basis in order to survive the hard Scrabble life. Would you survive the Appalachian Mountain existence? Put your hillbilly smarts to the test by answering the following questions. All right, let's get
You
started.
forgot to say question mark.
Question mark.
When food is
When-
scarce on the mountain, what's your go-to method to feed yourself? A. Get your fishing rod and head down to the lake. B. Where's the nearest takeout joint in town? C. Now's a good time as any to go visit mom for a home-cooked meal.
It seems kind of obvious which is the hillbilly one.
Well, are we supposed to pick the hillbilly one or the one that we would do? Because the one that we would do is
Yeah.
obviously where's the nearest takeout joint in town.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Really? I kind of like option C a bit.
now's as
When's
good
the
a
last
time as
time you
any
did
to
that?
visit mom for homework.
It's been a while. But I'm
Yeah,
just saying, if you're real hillbilly, you're just going to go
We
to
all went-
mom's
I
house,
think
going to
if
get
my
some
mom was here,
home-cooked
are we-
meals.
Are we answering this? What's the most hillbilly one? Or are we trying to answer this to what we would actually
We should
do?
answer it honestly, and all of us went to a takeout place directly before this podcast
Or during.
or during.
Okay, well, takeout, sure. I
Yes.
guess.
That's what the question. That's the answer.
I don't
says.
know. I feel like Machiavelli's not a takeout joint.
James is in
I don't
denial.
kind of. I feel like when you say takeout joint, I'm picturing like a McDonald's.
Why?
That's what I picture.
Okay.
No.
Well, we're
Takeout
going-
joint and fast food are not necessarily
I
the same
associate
thing.
them very much the same.
There's
It's
an
a place
association.
you can get takeout food from. I think I'm gonna click that one.
Okay, I guess I'm reading.
Yes, you
You're
are.
approaching a group of strangers on the mountain. How do you greet them? A. Good God, what the hell am I doing approaching a group of mountain strangers? Get me out of here. B. Wow, I started sounding like an Australian there. B. Couple of shots in the air from a pistol will let them know you mean business. Never take chances on the mountain. C. A good old-fashioned bird call is the ticket. Lets them know you mean no harm.
I think we know the answer again.
I'm
Is it
pretty
A
sure-
or B?
It's obviously B.
I feel like some
Obviously-
people here would the answer is B.
Obviously, B. A couple of shots. Bop bop bop
Bop
bop.
bop. Yeah.
I feel like C is the answer. I got all the bird calls.
I totally picture Harrison in A though, just running the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
me
mean,
and Harrison are definitely just running away.
yeah. I don't think I want to confront any mountain strangers.
That's not an answer to how do you greet them, though.
So
Yes,
here's
it
here's
is.
a question that we can maybe roll one out. Does anyone know how to do a bird call?
Caw,
All right, so that's no. So that's just a throwaway answer.
Kokoriki.
How about like a duck call?
Can you duck call? What was that? You proceeded to put your hand in front of your mouth and not make very much noise at all, and just kind of fell over.
I thought I was gonna be able to do it on the fly. I totally couldn't at all.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and rule C out.
We're
now.
gonna rule C out. I feel pretty strong with that.
All right, so are we at a 50-50 split here on A and B? Where are we at?
I mean, if between
any of
A
you
and
own
B,
a
it's
gun?
definitely A.
okay, well, I guess we're going with A.
I guess it has to be
Okay,
A
I guess
then,
we're going
right?
with A.
Yeah, there you go.
Good God, what the hell am I doing? Okay, 3. What can you make with a plastic bucket, some duct tape, hose, and a leaf blower?
Ooh, a lot of shit.
A pretty great Halloween costume. That appears to be the beginnings of a makeshift diving helmet.
Ooh.
Sounds like the makings of a big ol' hot mess.
What?
C.
I'm voting for C on this one.
I mean,
I'm
really
voting
like
for
B,
A.
but
I'm gonna go with A.
Is C sexual?
Yep.
Is that why you voted for C?
do you want it to be sexual?
Big ol' hot mess.
Yeah.
All right, let's go C.
I think it's A. A.
Sorry, overruled.
Cup of moonshine still is looking pretty dirty. What do you use to clean it? A. You don't clean nothing ever. Besides, moonshine is strong enough. Now it's down New Orleans. Help me.
This here is a 24-hour drinking city.
Besides, moonshine is strong enough to get dirt off of anything. You leave it be for now. B. What's this moonshine you speak of? Sounds pedestrian. C. You reach into the pantry for some ketchup. That'll clean it up proper like and make it shine brighter than any penny on the sun.
Well,
It seems like
coming out of that episode,
pretty much every question was addressed in this episode that we just watched specifically.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because it was just like a random episode in season 2.
They probably just made this quiz for season 2 and they only watched the first episode.
It must
Alright,
be.
So now we know the actual answer.
Yeah, so I think that we would just do it now that we know the answer, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
are we doing it now or if we were, before watching the show?
I think it's right now.
I think,
Right now.
I think we have the knowledge.
With
Okay.
our current knowledge.
We have the knowledge.
Here we go.
Dang it all to hell, your car broke down. How do you go about fixing it? A. Call the mechanic.
Well, yeah, here we go.
You only let professionals touch your mode of transportation. B. Pour some moonshine over those car pots. Now I sound Bostonian.
Car pots.
Bots.
I really appreciate the commitment to the accent because you're pretty far down right now. You gotta
See
keep
if you
going.
can drive it home here.
Yeah.
Oh no. Moonshine fixes everything. C. Fix it? Ain't nobody got time for that. Put that sucker up on some cinder blocks and call it a day.
I do like option C,
I like C a lot.
but we clearly know what the answer is.
Like, I would do A. If my car's not working, I'm not pouring any moonshine
No.
on it.
Yeah.
I'm calling
Did you
the
not learn
mechanic.
anything
It's
from the
certainly
episode?
not
No.
B.
But that only fixes a very specific car problem. Like, you don't just pour it on there for any problem.
Hey, look, I got a flat tire. Let me pour all these moonshine all over the engine.
Over, quote, over those car parts.
It's either, I think, C, but you can make a case for A.
I don't think that you automatically
Team A.
put your car on cinder blocks when it breaks.
Yeah.
Okay, wait.
Chris has like got a broken window and is like, "Fuck it, put it on some cinder blocks."
So
Well,
the thing
rather than
was,
put
solid gas.
Rather than
Puts
put
on some cinder
moonshine on
block.
the engine for a broken window.
let's
some
take a
moonshine on the
poll
window,
among
might
the
fix it
people
up,
who
lube
have
it up.
cars.
Yeah.
A?
A.
A. It's got to be A.
All right, it's A.
Great.
Well, I mean, you can make a case
How many?
for A.
How long do you think this quiz is?
I don't
At
know,
least
but
10
you
questions.
6.
Wildly
What kind of
underestimated
tools
it
do you
once
usually
again.
use? A. I only buy the best from big box stores. B. Homemade.
Oh, no.
I can make tools for any occasion. Bob Villa can suck it.
That seems like an unnecessarily
C.
unnecessary call of Bob Villa.
Shots
We
fired.
didn't even make that one up. That's literally on this test right
Tools?
now.
Does a corkscrew count?
Question mark.
I
Question
think
mark?
C. I think it's
Mark?
a C here.
I'm leaning towards C.
C.
I mean, I have tools.
What's the last thing you did with tools in your house?
Oh man, I
A
don't know.
Dremel shit.
There you go.
I installed a new smoke detector with a screwdriver.
Nice, nice.
So we're going with C. is what you're
Okay,
telling me.
sure.
I mean, I did make a bookshelf recently that
All
I
right,
used tools
we gotta
for.
power through these. 7. A Pentecostal preacher is looking for a rattlesnake to use during church services and comes to you for help. What do? A. You've got to be.
What is that?
Kill me. A. You gotta be kidding. No way, no how. B. You're up for anything as long as it pays enough. Show me the money. C. Climb up Cold Mountain and go cave diving for some rattlesnakes. There's an obvious answer here.
Obviously, it's C.
Yeah.
This is why you're the one that gets killed first.
Cave diving for rattlesnakes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm definitely voting A.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't
Sounds
wanna-
like an A.
I don't want to fuck with rattlesnakes at all.
Well, it's more like I got better things to do in my time.
A.
Also, yes.
You gotta get across a freezing wild mountain river.
The
How do you
accent's
go
back.
about it? A. No pain, no fear. I'm stripping down and swimming that sucker. B. Get that top over yonder attached to some vines and let's get rafting. C. My doctor says I shouldn't be exposed to cold water in high anxiety situations, so yeah, gonna pass.
Where's D? Use the bridge.
C is clearly the option here.
I don't know, man.
Clearly,
B,
it's B because the episode just showed us that.
But is that what you would do?
That's what I would do.
now that I have the knowledge,
Can
Now
you
that I have
could you
the
build
knowledge.
that boat?
You are not capable of building that boat.
what?
Let's go do it, like this weekend, and then we'll film
I
it
feel
for,
like if
for
you
our
take a
Facebook
hack
page.
at it, just get some twigs and put some shit around.
You
Okay.
are
it.
drowning to death.
Here's okay. Here's the plan for this weekend.
Let's go tubing.
We're gonna let you do this and try and row that thing across Lake Washington, and we'll see what happens.
No, there's not putting this boat across some with waves in it.
You gotta go.
Or Lake
let him
Union
do a
then, Lake
creek.
Union.
No,
Lake-
let him
There's
do
a
a
Union.
creek.
creek, you know.
They were on a creek. He can do a creek.
Where's a creek around here?
I don't know. Just find one.
I would be impressed if you could get across a pool. To be honest,
What
with
about my
you.
bathtub? Can I just build a thing and stick it in the bathtub?
Yeah.
See if it works.
All right. So C.
Sure.
C.
I guess we're gonna get the worst rating on this
We're
thing.
definitely not
Nah,
gonna
can
these
you
right.
make a hunting knife? Maybe. I've seen Crocodile Dundee. I could figure it out. There's a bear crap in the woods. I support better.
You're all over the
That's
map.
spork.
Going Scottish.
No, Crocodile Dundee's Australian.
That sounded Scottish to me. Try it again.
We gotta get through this quiz.
We really do.
I
This
support
is-
PETA and use a plastic spork. What do you think?
I don't think we have any options for us here.
None of them are that good for us.
I mean, I feel like the top
A,
one.
Yeah.
Sure.
Maybe. I mean, I have seen Crocodile Dundee, so
It's
it's
true.
at least half true.
I have not.
I have not either.
Okay.
So here's the issue I have with A. So even though I've seen the movie,
Just do
I
it.
don't know what I could figure. Like, what am I going to figure out?
Also, does Crocodile Dundee actually make a knife in that, or does he just carry that big knife
feel
all
like
the
he just
time?
has a knife.
I remember he didn't make a knife in that movie.
Who wrote this quiz?
I don't
If-
know.
If the intern that wrote this quiz can get back to talk, listening right now, send us a message.
We should write our own "How Hillbilly Blood Are You" quiz.
Every
Alright.
question's about propane tanks.
So maybe I've seen Crocodile Dundee. I could figure it out.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go with A.
What do you do if somebody lies to you? You shoot them in the balls. Why? You got a better way? B. Time to call your lawyer. You don't pay them $400 an hour for nothing. C. You give them the stink eye every time they dare to show their face around you. Shoot them in the balls.
Yeah, that's clearly an A.
I don't think anyone
Clearly,
has
as
guns.
we've
Back to the
discussed,
guns
yeah.
part. I think it's
Nobody
got to
owns
be
a gun.
C for me.
It's obviously C.
I think it's C.
What about B?
Well, you have to buy a gun.
Oh,
step
man.
one. Oh no!
You're
What
a
happened?
Yankee pansy.
Ready? Your result 0 to 1. Correct. You're a Yankee pansy. Your hillbilly skills are quite embarrassing. You wouldn't survive an hour in the Appalachian Mountains if your life depended on it. You couldn't start a fire, barter with the locals, or fend off the wild creature and varmints of the mountain, no matter how hard you tried. You better get your Yankee ass back up to the north ASAP.
Accurate.
Sounds
I
pretty
mean, the
accurate.
ending of that quiz was definitely
Yankee
worth it
ass
for me.
Back up the north ASAP.
Yep.
I don't know that I'd agree with it, but it was, funny.
Better get your
It
Yankee
seems
ass
pretty
back
accurate.
up to the north.
Okay.
All right. So, the eternal question. Is this worse than Real Housewives of New Jersey?
No.
I also say not even close.
Well, part of my judging is I'm bringing other episodes I've seen into this, and so once you've seen better episodes, it's definitely no. Like this episode was pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, it was...
I'm gonna go against the crowd here. I think this was way more boring than Housewives of New Jersey.
Real
Yeah.
Housewives was way longer and didn't have.
Yeah, it was
Traps.
double the length, but I can't pull the length into this.
Are you saying
this
Real
was
House?
boring, terribly written? It was just like the bottom of reality show.
It was
Nothing happened.
It was super boring. Like, there's definitely more stuff that happened in Real Housewives of New Jersey, but I'm kind of with Rob here. I've seen some other episodes. I know what the potential of the show is. This particular one did not deliver, though. And particularly for a season premiere, you think they'd really be bringing the heat?
And Wikipedia, this is it's episode 7.
What?
Oh,
Season 1.
really?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
So this is one of those weird where they split them in their
yeah. Got it.
whatever. I don't really know how to quantify what they do. Where it's like they film season 1 and then they split it halfway. Whatever.
So they shot
Anyway,
the thing,
yeah.
and then Okay.
This was. I think this was worse.
Bold statement.
Bulls.
I mean, some of the clips seemed better,
Sure.
but that's 1 minute. This is a 23-minute show or whatever. It's like after this episode, I can't say it had terrible writing, which for a reality show I shouldn't really notice too much of the writing. It should be like people being themselves, and just it didn't go anywhere. It didn't have any point. There was nothing fun that happened. Like it was pointless.
Yeah, I agree. I just don't think it's worse than Real Housewives.
At least in Real Housewives in New Jersey, you had some guy yelling at people, and like people went to see alligators, and they were just being dumb, but
Yeah, and you had one of the Jonas Brothers in the mix.
yeah, this is we talked a lot. It was I feel like we had more context. The show might have been better, but
Was that one?
It was one of the Jonas Brothers. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, got it.
yeah. So I mean, as a collective group, we could still say the House of New Jersey is the worst, but I think for me, this episode, so bad.
Fair.
Super slow. Okay,
Any
so
last
we have to go.
thoughts?
No, we got to go drinking rules.
drinking
yeah.
rules. That's right.
So anytime you feel like the writers had a terrible line to give, take a drink.
That's a very subjective drinking rule.
Yeah, I know.
Every
Sorry
time the narrator uses sort of a Appalachian colloquialism, I don't have any examples offhand.
Oh, what was that one? It's like
The boys got to get to work on this double quick.
it's like that. It's like that's
Lickety-
colder than
lickety split.
a duck's feet on ice. Something like that.
That was
I
one.
don't know.
Yeah, take a drink.
Yeah, I like that.
I think you got to take a drink every time they cut away to the little sketch drawing thing they do, the graphic, while the narrator's sort of explaining what they're doing. I think you
Yeah.
got to drink during that.
How about drink every time they drink moonshine? I mean
Solid.
that might
Drink
be
moonshine every time
episode.
they drink moonshine.
If you can get some moonshine, you got to drink that moonshine.
Sure.
I don't think it's available. It might be
available?
available in Washington.
I don't know about Washington.
I don't
mean,
know.
there's some pretty, hill.
There's
First
that
of all, you got to make
backwoods.
some moonshine to watch the show.
I mean, that'd be real impressive if you can pull that off.
Yeah, James, can we set up one of those moonshine rigs out there on your balcony?
I mean, we're going to go ahead and do that at your place, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, you have more space than I do out there.
What about that? Probably not.
Probably not. Okay.
Probably not.
Great.
I don't really want to get into moonshine.
It might explode the building.
Business. Yeah. There's probably a lot of reasons why we can't make moonshine here, but, sparing that, we're not going to do it.
All right.
It's a hard no.
Drink every time they use like drink for every weird ingredient in their hillbilly invention. So like using a tarp to make a boat, that you should drink for that.
I feel like the vines are almost weirder than the tarp in that.
Yeah.
No.
I feel like the ketchup is weird.
I also wanted, I think you have to. I want a shot when propane tanks are involved.
I like that.
So, like, anytime there's propane tanks involved?
Anytime we're like, let's get some propane tanks. And doesn't matter what the next line is. It's just like you got to do a shot.
Season 4, I think, is going to be a death season then.
Yeah.
It might be a bonus game.
I think that's our hard mode of the week.
That's right.
Watch season 4 by playing
hard
Rob's
mode of the
Rule.
week.
All right. Does anyone have any closing thoughts on this episode?
I
The show?
would love the show so much more if they just rebranded it as like a hillbilly version of Mythbusters. Just two dudes making crazy shit.
Actually, I would really like the show if it was Hillbilly Junkyard Wars. That would be the best.
Hillbilly
pretty good.
BattleBots.
I mean, isn't that kind of just Junkyard Wars?
Yeah, kind of. We need to do that show. I love
Yeah,
that show.
that's a great show.
We need another one. Anyway, so I guess next week.
Next week, we'll be watching Gordon Ramsay yelling at children, MasterChef Junior. Here's the description from Fox. A new culinary competition series for talented kids between the ages of 8 and 13 who love to cook, with the winner receiving a $100,000 prize. That's the whole one again. It's on Hulu Plus. You can go. We'll send out a link on our Facebook and Twitter. So, we'll be watching Gordon Ramsay yell at some kids next week. It'd be great.
Did we put the link up for this episode?
We did.
On our social media platforms?
did.
Yes, social media is aware of Hillbilly
Just making sure
Blood.
it's aware.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
And what are those social media platforms, Chris?
Is this
you-
NBA 2K15?
yeah.
You can find us on Facebook.com/WhoPutThisOn. You can find us on Twitter @WhoPutThisOn. And you can email us questions and that we can answer on the show at WhoPutThisOn@gmail.com. Any plugs over there, Harrison?
Any plugs over here? So you can follow me on Twitter @Harrison Hoffman, and just a quick shout out to where our podcast is available. You can find us on iTunes. Download it there. You can rate our podcast if you like it. Helps us out. Just saying.
You shrugging at us doesn't help anyone on the audio.
I mean, the shrug was for you.
I know.
You have to say shrug when
Shrug.
you shrug. Oh, no. Why are you winking now?
Because you got to wink.
James, you got plugs?
You can find my Twitter @KeynesJ3.
Rob?
I'm on Twitter @RobKetz.
Hillbilly Mountain Man Max.
You can find me on Twitter at Japanese Penis Festival.
Japanese Penis Festival.
All right.
That's
Okay.
very hillbilly of you.
Thank you.
I was gonna say it doesn't sound very mountain man. Maybe that's why I'm not the mountain man.
I'm very cultured.
Are you a mountain man from Japan?
Yeah, Fuji.
Oh, okay. Different mountains, guys.
All
Different
makes sense
mountains.
now.
You can follow me @the Chris Lorenz. And I want to give a shout out or maybe a moment of silence for Utopia. It's over.
R.I.P.
It's done.
The dream's over.
They sent the contestants home, so
What happens to Utopia State of Freedom now?
they start their own show.
Oh.
I would
Bluegrass
watch
Boys.
that show.
We do need to watch the show with Red. Red is already in a show.
It would be amazing if Red made a guest appearance on Hillbilly Blood. I think that'd be
Ooh.
great. Yeah.
There's so many of these hillbilly shows. Can we not watch them?
Next week, Duck Dynasty.
So can we have a sort of reality show fantasy league?
Sure.
I want to see a hillbilly dating show.
Hillbilly dating show. That would be really
Should
good.
we do millionaire hillbilly dating show?
Are
Yes.
they naked?
Sure.
What if you have
No.
to marry a hillbilly at first sight?
You have
Naked.
to
Naked.
marry a millionaire naked hillbilly
at first sight. So the hillbilly is a millionaire. So you're basically marrying one of the Duck Dynasty
Also, they're
people.
a bully, and you have to beat them down once you marry them.
And they're in New Jersey.
Sure.
It's like a super mashup of all the
All the
shows.
shows we've watched.
I would watch like half of those descriptors.
But not the other half.
Just not New Jersey. Never again.
All right,
Max
guys.
is disowned New Jersey.
We'll
no,
see.
just the Real Housewives.
Just so we can watch Real Housewives of Atlanta, and you're all right with that.
ATL.
If you're gonna do Atlanta, you have to do whatever
Lo-
that rap one.
Love and Hip Hop Atlanta.
Yeah.
We really have to do that one at some point. It's a great show.
I've never seen it. I just like the name.
Love and Hip Hop Atlanta.
Well, we'll put it in the queue.
All right.
All right.
All right, we'll see you guys next week.
Well,